Okay, we have some good news for once. Isn't it nice when we get that from time to time? This was from 2 days ago. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals upheld a lower court's injunction blocking enforcement of an Idaho law banning gender affirming medical care for transgender people under 18. Or to unweave that sentence just a little bit, Idaho passed a law banning gender affirming medical care for trans people under 18, and a lower court that is below the Circuit Court of Appeals blocked the enforcement of that law. Then it was appealed and taken up to the Circuit Court of Appeals, obviously, and they upheld the injunction. Big deal. You go up from the Circuit Court of Appeals, you're at the Supreme Court, and I doubt they'll hear on this. It seems like it's a settled issue, which means that this is one of the biggest pushbacks against anti-trans legislation that we've seen thus far. We've seen local courts dispute or hold or press or whatever, but this is a pretty big deal. Rare Law W. Yeah, no. Idaho. I live in Washington, right next to Idaho, Transgender ideology bleeding across the eastern border of Washington state, corrupting Idaho and all your potatoes and making them gay. It's pretty good. Meanwhile, New Hampshire passed a trans ban law that 16 Democrats sat out for, and roll call was passed on so they wouldn't be caught. I don't know what you mean, Somnio. Is there an article you can point me to? All right, well, that's all the good news. I was also linked this. We need to balance it out, equal and opposite, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith introduced a set of new policies restricting gender-affirming care, pronoun use in schools, and trans women's participation in sports in what is probably Canada's harshest anti-trans legislation to date. Now, admittedly, Canada isn't a real country, but there are still people there. Yeah, it's the Alberta thing. That's my premier. Well, why did you vote for her? The policy was announced Wednesday in a video posted to social media and follows similar move in Saskatchewan, and New Brunswick, but takes it to a whole new level. Included in the policies coming down the pipe in Alberta, gender-affirming surgery, including both top and bottom surgery, for anyone under the age of 18 will be banned. Anyone 15 years and under will not be able to access puberty blockers and hormone access. This province will require parental notification and consent for students 15 years old and under who want to change their names or pronouns at school. Fantastic. Hey, willing to bet that all of this is downstream of American Republican anti-trans culture war bullshit, right? Like, I guarantee you that the Danielle Smith is just like verbatim repeating what, like, just the next day any Republican bit. It's just like straightforwardly pure import, Well, much like our television, Canadians can't help but import our culture. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith here. She is grilled by reporters on new gender policy. 29 minutes. You can't get an American politician to talk to a journalist that long. Tucker Carlson was just here and met with her. Nice.
Alana Smith, Globe and Mail. You've spoken passionately about bodily autonomy.
God damn it. I made the audio mono for you guys. It's leftist audio over here.
About depoliticizing the conversation around trans and non-binary children, and, as in your own words, not using them as a political football. In November, you made clear you wanted to strike a balance on parental rights. The parental rights policies here are more aggressive than any other province, and the restrictions around hormones and puberty blockers are unprecedented in Canada. So what changed that made you take this approach?
Well, we know that we have to preserve the rights of kids to be able to make...
Shit suit, by the way. By the way, just saying, shit suit. Shit opinion, shit suit. Look at the way it folds on her shoulder right here. This fits like a goddamn, like, $40 cotton cardigan, No structure.
Decisions as adults. I think that we've seen in other jurisdictions, I believe in June of last year, New Brunswick made policy changes. In the fall, Saskatchewan made policy changes. We've been watching internationally as the UK has made policy changes, as well as Denmark, Norway.
Definitely fake pearls too. Hey, by the way, maybe people disagree with me. Does anyone else feel like pearl necklaces almost always look like shit? I feel like they look good in a very specific context, and that's if you're like a flapper girl or you're wearing like a proper evening dress. I see them worn with like anything, and they're all fake pearls, of course, but like, like if you're doing this like classic like done up hair kind of thing, like you're looking like you're going out to the ball, that's cool because that's like consistent. But I feel like often people just wear them with anything. I don't know. Oh yeah, I don't have an issue with pearls as an accent gem at all. I just mean the pearl necklace thing specifically.
Finland, Sweden. I mean, this has been an ongoing conversation over the last number of years. We've been monitoring it very closely, and we wanted to make sure that we struck the right balance so that kids are not making irreversible decisions when they may not be mature enough to make those decisions. We want to make sure that those adult decisions are made as adults.
I'm not
Okay, so she's just going to be like repeating verbatim every talking point I've heard from every Republican. Somebody said the Collins later get psychotic.
Do the same thing for my older brother. He goes by his first name, not his middle. Other with me.
Yes.
But that she
Yes. Lisa Johnson, Edmonton Journal.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. I'm wondering, my understanding is that your legal first name is Marlena. Why did you choose, I'm wondering why did you choose to go by a different name, and why you would take steps to restrict the same freedom for others to do the same?
Well, my mother's going to get a great kick out of that question, because I've been ever since 9/11, I've been telling her how difficult it is that she decided to have me go by my middle name and not my first name. It was my parents' choice to call me Danielle, and it was my parents' choice to put on my birth certificate that Marlena Danielle Smith. They just like the ring of it better. That's actually what it comes to.
What? 9/11? What? 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 Hello? Did I just have a stroke? I'm sorry. What was her I can feel blood hemorrhaging into my brain right now. What the just happened? What's her middle name is Danielle, and she goes by that. Marlena. That's her name. Marlena? 9/11? Marlena 9/11? 9/11? Marlena Danielle 9/11 Smith? What? Osama bin Danielle Smith? I am so confused. Is Marlena an Arab name? Is it? Wait, since this woman is just like an amalgamation of reactionary right-wing American talking points, do you think that that just slipped in there the same way that like a bad sentence does into an AI prompt? This is like a chat GPT thing, right? Like 9/11 just slipped into what she was saying because it's part of the big mixed blend of American right-wing talking points. I'd believe that. I believe that. Yeah, okay, that's what I'm going with.
Down to. They didn't do the same thing for my older brother. He goes by his first name, not his middle name. My middle sister, she goes by her first name, not her middle name. My two other brothers also go by their first name, not their middle name. They just decided to make a difference with me. They liked the name Danielle, but they didn't like the ring of Danielle Marlena Smith. That's what it comes down to.
Did you have a follow-up, Lisa?
What?
Yeah, thanks for that. Critics of this cluster...
That also didn't answer the question. The question was, if you can change your name as a kid, then why can't other people?
...of policies have asked how you feel about the fact that you have restricted the rights of vulnerable young people in Alberta to gain favor with the far-right wing of voters in your...
It was like the Chewbacca defense. Like it confounded the caller, discombobulate, you know? Like just calling in to do like the gotcha on why your name changed and you're restricting the right for other people. It's like, well, ever since 9/11, you know? So it's what? Like she's reacting the way I am. Her blood hemorrhaging.
Party, which are a pretty small representative population of the
Discombobulate.
Mark, you can respond to that.
I would say that we're supporting kids in their right to make decisions about their own journey at a time when they're mature enough to make those decisions. So age 16 is when they can begin with the hormone therapies, and age 18 is when they'll...
Remember, you need parental permission to go by a new name in school, you know? Like if you have a nickname you want to go by, they have to call your parents and get permission for it.
Able to commence top and bottom surgery. We just think that that's a responsible way of approaching this issue so that the kids are not precluded from all of the future choices that come to them when they decide to make the decision that is going to have potentially serious ramifications on their reproductive rights. And so we think that this is preserving of choice.
This bitch is boring. If fascism is on the table now in Canada, can you guys stop shipping your fascists down here? Can you stop with all the goddamn Crowders and Tucker Carlsons and what have you? They're always boring. Yeah, I suppose. Oh, this is what was referred to earlier. 16 House Democrats skipped the New Hampshire vote, voted yes or did not vote in order to pass the legislation. The second time around, no roll call was requested, protecting Dems who voted against trans people. What pieces of shit. So they're saying that New Hampshire House Democrats were complicit in the passing of anti-trans legislation. Democrats, on the whole, are not participants in the anti-trans culture war, but it gets wackier at the local level. The more the more local politics get, the wackier it gets, basically, is the rule, you know? So some of that is to be expected, though that doesn't make them any less evil.